Hello again and a very warm welcome to Sunday Thoughts from Ardtrea Desertcreat. Here's some music recorded just last week down at church with Tom McQueen on violin and Maria McCord on piano. Well, we're recording this on Friday morning and I'm looking out at the front garden where there are several police cars, an ambulance, a recovery vehicle, a car in our garden that's just come through the fence. Thankfully nobody seriously hurt, but somebody stretchered away in the ambulance, which serves as a perfect introduction to this morning's theme, which is all about slowing down. And with this as a backdrop, please slow down on the roads. I know we probably all drive too fast at times, but after a dry spell when it rains heavily, the roads are really slippery, and the country roads particularly so. So stay safe on the roads. Now, speaking of emergency vehicles and all that, I have it on very good authority that the fire brigade are on standby over this coming weekend, because the skies above Cookstown and possibly even Scotland are expected to be aglow with candlelight from birthday cakes. So we want to wish Laura, our own Laura Swale, a very happy big birthday. It's one of those which is a nice round number. So happy birthday to Laura. And also to Lila Swale, Mrs. Swale MBE, who reaches 99 this Monday. A very happy birthday to Lila. Here's this morning's Bible reading. And it's from Luke chapter 10, the story of Mary and Martha and Jesus calling to visit. As Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She came to him and asked, "Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do all the work by myself? Tell her to help me." "Martha, Martha," the Lord answered, "you're worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her." One of the nicest things about the summer season, certainly under normal circumstances, is that traditionally it's a time to slow down and take life at a simpler pace for a few weeks or maybe even a few months if you can. In recent years before COVID, there was actually a movement within Christianity that was centered around the idea of slowing down. And the idea was simply that life had become too frantic, too fast, too busy. And so many Christians were discovering the importance of slowing it down, taking it easy. And I suppose in some ways it was a bit of a passing fad. Books were certainly written about it, slowing down type of conferences and retreats were held. And it's certainly no new idea. It was just marketed differently in the middle of a world that was getting busier. Slow down, own less, reflect more. That was the kind of philosophy. All good ideas. And then, of course, COVID came and slowed everything down even more, whether we liked it or not. There's no doubt that life was, certainly pre-COVID, getting busier and faster all the time. We were all more hurried than we had probably ever been. There was a Swiss psychiatrist called Carl Jung, and he apparently once said that hurry is not of the devil. Hurry is the devil. Make of that what you will. There's an American Presbyterian minister and writer called John Ortberg, and he wrote these words. The greatest danger for many of us is not that we will renounce our faith, but that we're so hurried and rushed and distracted that we skim over life and miss many of the important things, and we miss out on life as God intends it. And we all have been suffering, certainly pre-COVID, from hurry sickness. It endangers our health, it stresses us, and it affects our inner lives as well. The funny thing is that in years gone by, people thought we would have a lot more free leisure time today. Apparently Time magazine in the 1960s noted that a subcommittee of the Senate had been doing some research on time management, and they were producing a report in the 60s that was saying in 30 years' time, people would have so much free time, it was going to be a challenge figuring out what to do with it. And in fact, the reverse happened. It's our done thing to buy things that help us do life faster. Faster computers, faster internet connection, 2-in-1 shampoo, fast food. The thing is, when we look at the life of Jesus, he very much models the importance of certainly being busy, and I've said before, but slowing down and taking time to recharge your batteries. He knew when to stop, and he knew when to get away from it all, and he did that often. And in this morning's Bible reading, the story of Mary and Martha, the two sisters. One sister's busy cleaning and hoovering and dusting and making the tea and making sure the candles are lit and everything's just right, and she's stressed. And the other sister just sits and enjoys time with Jesus. And when the stressy one complains, Jesus gently says to her, your sister's actually chosen what is right, to slow down and to take time with me. Here's the thing that I have again said before. If you want to follow someone, you can't go faster than the one you are following. And so for many of us, following Jesus may mean relearning the importance of taking time to slow down. Even if it's on a daily basis, and even if life is slower than usual with all that we're going through, taking time to deliberately be quiet and reflect. Call it what you want, a quiet time, a mini retreat, time for you. Those are important things. So how do you fix it? Well, as I say, Jesus modelled the importance of slow time, choosing to be with him, being still. Even in Old Testament times, one of the psalmists in Psalm 46 wrote those famous words, be still and know that I am God. Just quieten it down every now and again. Chill, relax, slow down. Practice solitude. Solitude's one of those strange things that I quite like it now and again, and it's very important to me now and again, but some people aren't that happy with their own company until they get used to it. Look at the life of Jesus though, and you'll discover he took times of solitude often. Sometimes he went off for extended periods of refraining from food and prayer. on the death of John the Baptist, his friend, when he was choosing his disciples in the final days of his life. On all those occasions, he withdrew to be on his own with his heavenly Father. Jesus needed solitude, and we need it too. How can time alone help us? Well, think of it like this. Society is always trying to squeeze us into its mould. During COVID, some people have been worried that the government or some world power is trying to squeeze us into a particular mould. But every now and again, we need to just withdraw from the world. And that's what taking quiet time or solitude helps us to do. St. Paul once wrote the words, "Do not let the world squeeze you into its mould." I suppose time on your own, solitude, quiet time, is primarily about not doing something. Just like fasting is about deliberately not eating for a time, solitude is deliberately stepping out of society for a time, getting away from noise and distraction and the constant barrage of stimulation. You don't always have to be doing in order to impress. Following Jesus actually means living as he lived. Closing thoughts. COVID slowed all of us down, particularly when we went into lockdown. And that was disastrous for some, particularly those in business, those in hospitality, who many of them went under because business just stopped. But for other people, I think lockdown, at least in part, came as a blessing, at least in part, because it gave them time to enjoy family time or me time or garden time or project time, time to slow down and do less and reflect a bit more. And we'll be reflecting on what we've learned for years to come. I can hear the winds howling outside this morning. The trees are losing their bright green appearance. Summer is slowly but surely coming to an end. There's been no sign of that second heat wave in August so far. But for those of us who are going back to work and beginning a new term, there's not much time left to enjoy the slower pace of summer. But for all of us, I want just to point out this morning the importance, whether life is busy or life is quiet and down, the importance of time on your own, and particularly for those of us who centre our lives on Jesus, time with him. Thanks for listening this morning. Here's a song that we recorded with Janet Dowd as part of a little project in Listen House. And it's an old American gospel song about travelling through this world. And it's called Wayfaring Stranger. Catch up with you next week. Bye for now. God bless.
Just a poor wayfaring stranger traveling through this world of woe. There's no sickness, toil or danger in that bright land to which I go. And I'm going there to see my Father. Going there, no more to roam. I'm just going over Jordan. I'm just going over home. Dark clouds will gather around me. I know my way is hard and steep. Beautiful fields lie just before me, where God redeems, their vigils keep. wretched me.